episode of Tea with Z. It's so good to be with you again on another episode, and yeah, just really stoked to be here, like always. And thank you once again for jumping on and watching. Now, if you are watching, I'd love for you to reach out and say hi. That just helps me know, and really, I guess, get some level of interaction because I love to communicate with each and every one of you and to make this as interactive as possible. So if you haven't got your hot beverage or your drink yet, go and grab that now because that's why we call it Tea with Z. So grab your tea, your coffee, whatever, maybe your bowl of cereal, who knows? So hello, hello, hello. Thanks for jumping on. I'm going to just quickly check why I can't see your name. That will. Hey, Leonie. How are we? How are we? So there's a little hack with commenting in the Limitless Network, and I'm going to just show you that right now. So thank you so much. For some weird reason, Facebook actually blocks, I guess, me to be able to see your names in the group. So if you are watching within the Limitless Network, just jump to chat.restream.io/Facebook, and you just need to give it permission so I can see your name. But good morning, Leonie. Thank you so much for jumping on. It's great to be here. And for those that don't know Leonie is an amazing entrepreneur, the amazing mother of three bubs. She had triplets, and yeah, super stoked to be on another episode of Tea with Z with you this morning, Leonie. So thanks for jumping on. And yep, I see you there. All right. So today, talking about wins and finding your wins. Well, yesterday I spoke about opportunities versus challenges, and I guess the ability to maximize and to leverage the opportunities within our environment, despite all of the challenges that we have to go through. Now, in order to leverage the opportunities, we need to find what those might look like. We need to actively play a role in identifying the opportunities and then leveraging them to ensure that we get the most out of whatever opportunities are presented to us, to our businesses, to our own personal lives. Because I know in my business, if I wasn't going to look for the opportunities, I would not know what opportunities are out there. And it's quite a simple concept. If you don't look, nothing can be found. And without looking and actually taking that time to step back and look and to identify the opportunities, we wouldn't have been able to have gotten the business to where we did if we adopted the mindset of it's too hard, we're stuck in these challenges, there's no way out. It would have been a very, very different environment. And good morning, Tash, as well. Thanks for jumping on. So when we look at wins and leveraging the opportunities, it's really important that we don't just leverage the opportunities, because at the end of the day, that is awesome in its own right. But it's so easy for us to keep getting bogged down in the challenges that we face, in the roadblocks that we come across, and really start to focus on the weaknesses in our business. Start to focus on the things that we're not good at. Start to obsess about the things that we could have done better. And when we look at that impact on ourselves, on our own mental health and well-being, on the ability for us to step up and perform, that is severely detrimental. Because at the end of the day, if we only start focusing on the negatives, if we only start focusing on what we need to do better, then how are we meant to uplift our team and motivate our team and motivate ourselves, motivate our friends, motivate our loved ones as health entrepreneurs, as people that are motivated to empower not only ourselves, but others on their own journey of health and well-being? If we're so focused on the negatives, how are we meant to identify the strengths and celebrate what we are good at and what we have achieved? And whenever I run planning and whenever we do look at strengths within a planning session, it brings up this level of uncomfort, this level of discomfort, I should say, this level of discomfort. Because at the end of the day, when we take the time to really dig deep and look at what we're good at, it brings up this level of discomfort because we're not used to that. We are conditioned, and most of us are conditioned through the stories and the coding that have been shone upon us through our upbringing to be focusing on the negatives. At school, if we don't get something right, we fail. That is probably the most fundamental thing that actually codes us into recognizing those failures as, or those events in our lives as failures, rather than looking at them as lessons learned. And by looking at those as lessons learned, we can then maximize and leverage those opportunities, which we discussed yesterday, and then turn those into wins. But if we aren't actually acknowledging the wins at the end of that journey, then how are we motivating ourselves to ensure that we can actually continue to strive for those wins day in and day out? How can we motivate not only ourselves, but our teams who are along the journey with us to step up and to elevate and to maintain a standard of high performance if we aren't acknowledging what we are doing well, what we are winning at? If we are so focused on the negatives and highlighting to our teams and to ourselves what we could be doing better, rather than celebrating and acknowledging the wins and taking the time out to do that, to even look for those wins, regardless of how big or small they might be, a win is a win. And that's why I posted up that quote this morning, is that it is the sum wins of all those little tiny steps that culminate to the biggest wins at the end. But it's so important that we celebrate each and every milestone along the way. And the way in which we can do that, some of you might be wondering right now is, well, how do we celebrate the wins? And for me, it's as simple as just acknowledging it. It's as simple as acknowledging it. It's acknowledging your team to say, well done. We achieved this today. Well done. It's a simple acknowledgement of congratulating a patient or a customer on their journey. Well done for taking the first step on your health journey today. Well done on just even picking up the phone call and wanting to know more information. For them, they might not see that as a win, but if we don't highlight those wins for them as well, then how are we bringing them along the journey to recognize the value in each of those little steps that they're taking? And without recognizing the value of those steps, then how can we motivate our teams to step up and perform even more? Because we all have something to celebrate. Just waking up this morning, being healthy, being COVID-free, for me is a win, particularly in the world in which we live in. The simple pleasure of not being in a lockdown is a win. The simple pleasure of being able to have a clean drink is a win. And if we start to become consciously aware of every single win that we have in our lives, we can then become more grateful for those things that might seem insignificant, but like I mentioned before, all add up to the biggest win at the end. And the biggest win is whatever we want to achieve in our lives. It is the mission. It is what we plan for. It is what we strategically do each and every day, those other little tasks that I've discussed to get to our mission. And so without taking the time out to acknowledge those wins, to even recognize those wins, we're doing not only ourselves a disservice, but everybody around us a disservice as well. Because at the end of the day, there is always something to celebrate. We just have to take the time out to acknowledge it. We just have to take out the time and step out of that discomfort and really dig deep and just go, yeah, what am I grateful for today? And what is a win as a result of that? What is a win? And so that's my question to you today is what's your win today? And the reason why I brought this up today is today in our community, in a community that I love, is today's Wednesday wins. And what is your Wednesday win today? So not only for yourself, but for your team, for your community, for your friends, for your family. Not only what is your win, but how are you going to celebrate it? Is it that you're going to send a message or post something publicly and acknowledge someone publicly? Is that you've got a team chat and you can ask everybody to celebrate something and acknowledge something that's good in their lives? And what is a win? What's been a win this past month? What's been a win this past week? What's been a win this past day? And to really acknowledge it, to really acknowledge it and to celebrate it. It's not just words on a page. It is something meaningful. A win, those tiny wins, each and every one of those wins all add up to something greater. So that's my question for you today is what is your win? How are you finding it? Are you taking that time out to really step up and actually look at those wins and to really acknowledge it? And that's a great point there. That's an absolutely fantastic point, is that we need to take the time to do it not only for our business lives, for our personal lives as well. It is always amazing to check in and celebrate. So thank you so much, Leonie, for that. And for Leonie, and if anybody of you know Leonie's story, Leonie has an incredible story. And for her, there are so many wins in her lives. And like her, there are so many wins in each and every one of us as well. So, Leonie, I love it. I love it. So, like I mentioned at the start, Leonie is the amazing mother of triplets. Triplets. And the journey to even get to those triplets, there were a lot that journey was an incredible journey. And that is such an amazing win. So, congratulations, Leonie. And thank you so much for sharing it. So that's my question for you today. And Leonie, as you can see, is jumping on right now. And she is one of the amazing family members of the Limitless Network. So I did want to give a special shout out to the Limitless Network. And thank you so much for jumping on. Because like Leonie, she values health in some way, shape, or form. And even though Leonie is not running a dedicated health business, she herself empowers others, herself, her family, on her own health entrepreneurial journey to live healthier and more fulfilled lives, and whatever shape or form that looks like. And so this is a group of like-minded people from all walks of life, from all business areas. And it is really amazing. So Leonie, for example, is in property. And yet she sees value and recognizes the value of health. And Leonie, forgive me if I'm speaking on your behalf, but I know Leonie personally, and I've seen the amazing journey that she's been on, and it's absolutely incredible. And I have so much love for this woman because at the end of the day, her grit and resilience to help others live more fulfilled, healthier lives is really what this group is all about. So if you'd like to join the group, it's absolutely available for you to join, because at the end of the day, if you value health in any way, shape, or form, then this is the group for you. So shout out to the Limitless Network. Thank you so much for jumping on, and thank you. Yeah, thanks, Leonie. That is so true. So true. So if you value health in any way, shape, or form, jump on the Limitless Network. And I really look forward to seeing what your wins are today. Whether or not you share it within the Limitless Network, you share it amongst your team, you share it wherever, or however which you acknowledge it as well. You acknowledge the wins that you see in others. So what's that win today? That's it from me today. It's been an absolute pleasure jumping on with you again for another episode of Tea with Z. I really look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And yeah, once again, have an amazing day. Stay safe, stay well, and catch you tomorrow. Thanks now. Bye.